Well, we've looked at lots of research going on out in the fields, but there's also a lot of laboratory research going on. And right now we're with Dr. Benny Bruton. And I understand that you guys have isolated a class of antibiotics.
Yes, we've discovered a new class, what we think may be a new class of antibiotics, in the process of trying to come up with a control method for a soil-borne disease of cucurbits. In the process, we realized that a fungus was producing some compounds that was inhibiting some of the other fungi that we were working on as well. So as a result, we purified those compounds and tested them against some other fungi to see if they were in fact inhibitory. Actually, they were slightly inhibiting
The other fungus.
to the other fungi, but not of any real consequence. So we tested some bacteria and found that these compounds had really excellent activity against certain specific bacteria.
Amazing.
One being a Staphylococcus and another being a Streptococcus, both of which are important clinical pathogens.
That's really exciting. Some of the other research you guys are looking at, you've been looking at the curcubate yellow vine disease problems.
Yeah, for the last 10 years, cucurbit yellow vine has been a serious problem here in Oklahoma and Central Texas, East Texas. In the last probably 3 years, we have found that it's also, it occurs in Arkansas, Tennessee, and even we found it in Massachusetts now. So the geographic distribution is much larger than what we had first anticipated. This is a really an unusual pathogen. It gets in the conducting tissues of the watermelon. It affects watermelon, squash, pumpkin, but not cucumber. It gets into the conducting tissues and really it just cuts off the conduction of the nutrients
The
in
photosynthates
the plant.
and
Yes,
things like that.
photosynthates in the plant, and the plant turns yellow and gradually dies.
So I understand you've discovered a vector.
Recently, yeah, recently, as early as last fall, early spring, we found that the squash bug is a vector. It may not necessarily be the only vector. My suspicion is that it is, but that's yet to be determined. But it's very unusual, squash bug being a vector to begin with.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. The squash bug on anything.
It's never been shown to be a vector of any plant pathogen. We also know that this bacteria overwinters in the squash bug. So consequently, when the squash bug, it hibernates during the winter. And in about April 15, the squash bugs, they start dispersing and moving out.
As soon as it warms up?
As soon as it warms up, which is about the same time that you start planting your watermelon, your early watermelon, which is April 1st, April 15. Well, they start coming out of hibernation. And we do know that those insects are capable of transmitting this yellow vine bacterium when they come out of hibernation.
Immediately.
Yeah. So they don't have to go feed on another infected plant prior to feeding on watermelon. They already have the bacteria and they're ready to transmit just as soon as they come out of hibernation and feed on the watermelon.
So the growers didn't know that the squash bug was the primary vector killing their plants. So now we have some strategy to win this war.
And I think we're going to be able to control it.
Well, I bet we will. Thank you very much, Dr. Bruton.
Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.